All right, over at the table now, we have the old power assisted steering column, Nissan Versa. I'm gonna reutilize this joint section here. It's on like a slip yoke here type thing, so I can move this in and out, which is cool. I'm just gonna unbolt it from here and then see what we got to work with. And hopefully with a little bit of luck, this will just slide out. Maybe not. All right guys, that's off just like that. So this part goes down to the mini steering rack. That's fine, that can stay. It's a little long, but I can modify if I need to. This side, I'll probably end up just welding to the mini steering column end. Maybe I'll run a plate over it first, just in case if somewhere down the road I can reuse this and put it back on this shaft. I don't want to get welding here. I could always just cut it off and slice it right here and still use it as a pinch orientation. But yeah, I got this, so I'm gonna see how this kind of looks in the car. All right, let's see what's going on over here. I got my bolt for the steering column down here. Oh, it's on that side, of course it is. Because I don't want this to keep falling in and out when I'm trying to do this. All right. That's cool like that. I'll leave the nut over here. I'm gonna go see what I have for 1/2-inch brackets off this bar. See, I think I got something in my box over there. I'm gonna check. I found some bearings, some 2-roller bearings. I got them out of a old motor I had lying on the bench. Had 2 bearings in it, so I'm gonna use these bearings for these shafts so I can get it nice and smooth. All right guys, this is kind of what I ended up doing. This was the old power steering assist. I cut off the shaft right here that had the splines in it. So I'm gonna utilize that part. And then I also cut off the other part that goes to the mini hub for the steering wheel. I'll put this aside for now. And then I made this tube. I gotta refine it some more, I gotta sand it down. But yeah, there's a cartridge sealed bearings on this side and the other side. So this spins nice and freely, it's nice and smooth. I did this in the lathe, and the whole inner shaft, I had to lay that out too and splice it and put couplers on. Anyways, I put this splice shaft on this side, it's welded, ground down, and now I can utilize this part, the billet pinch bolt here. And then I got the mini hub steering wheel boss on this side. So I'm gonna make mounts that go to this tube that will attach to the crash pad, or dash crash pad crash in the Mini somewhere. But yeah, I'll make a bracket that goes to this that I can nut and bolt to it so I can remove it if need be. The only other thing I have to do so far is extend this shaft here just so it'll reach the steering rack. It's about like an inch or two short, so I gotta cut off something and add something in here. Not really going for lightness here, but this is a hell of a lot lighter. This is kind of nice too, I like it. I wish I could have made it all out of one tube, which I probably could have. I don't know why I cut it in half when I probably didn't have to. But yeah, I machined the inside to accept the bearings. They just slide in nice and tight. And I'll just kind of fix this. This is an old Volkswagen axle tube, CV shaft rather. And it made the perfect host for these bearings. Here's my tube. I got it all sanded down, nice and good. Now I'm just trying to figure out where I want this thing. I don't know if I want it underneath or above the dash pad. All I know is I need to screw it on. I feel like this tube needs to be a little bit longer, to be honest with you. This dash pad is kind of in the wrong spot, but that's something you would never really know when you're just kind of doing this based off just kind of guessing and checking over here. right guys, I got my most of my column right here extended, and now I'm just gonna throw a quick tack just to get in the right spot where everything feels good before I start making brackets to hold this thing. So I'm just gonna throw a tack on each side just to hold it in a spot and make sure I got clearance on my U-joints, my pedal box, and my steering rack down there. And don't worry about these welds and everything. I'm gonna go back later on and clean it up for sure. All right, let's see what it looks like. All right, so I think I'm gonna tilt the column a little bit more upwards just to get a little bit more less angle out of the U-joint here. It doesn't bind. It seems like it's gonna go right to the steering rack. It does spin. It's a little more than I would want though, so I'm gonna just angle this up a little bit. Yeah, I think that's good. I'm just gonna leave it right there, I think. All right, so next I gotta figure out how I'm gonna make a bracket that'll just be a bolt-on situation so I can take this out in the future for paint and everything. So while it's tacked up, I'll make mounts to hold this in a good spot. Once all mounted up, take it back apart, grind down those welds, clean it up, and then put it back in for good. And I still have to lengthen up the bottom part of the steering column as well. Actually, before I make the bracket for the column, I'm gonna actually extend the lower part of this column first. So I need to bring it down, I don't know, maybe 4.5, 5 inches. I'm gonna keep the slip yoke, or the slip part of the shaft. I think I'm just gonna cut it off up here. Oh, you can't see. I'm gonna cut this section off up here somewhere and just extend this piece, make it longer, and then just re-weld it, and I'll do that in the lathe. Actually, I'm gonna do the bottom one. Yeah, I'll extend this bottom piece instead.